Okay, so I'm here at COEX with Youngeun of C Makgeolli. So let's find out what she's doing.
All right. Hi. We are a microbrewery in Yangpyeong, and we are brewing makgeolli in a traditional way, but with some ingredients that were hardly used before in the traditional brewing. So, such as like all those botanicals, rosemary, sage, etc. Also, lots of fruits and vegetables. So bringing some new combination of aroma and taste and texture and so on into very let's say natural and pure makgeolli. So that's our concept. That's why we are having some special collections all the time. Every month we have a new release of makgeolli with new flavors and new aroma and new message and new concept. And I call it postmodern makgeolli.
Right.
So,
I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah.
The meaning of that.
Yeah, indeed. So, we have this classic makgeolli. So, 전통주, real traditional makgeolli that is coming down as legacy for a long time, right? So, we have this makgeolli tradition. I call it classic, right? And then we move into the modern times where we have factory-made makgeolli, where we can find those makgeolli bottles where we can find in the supermarkets and that is adapted to public taste. So I call it modern. And what I would like to make is the next stage of it. So we're moving towards the postmodern. So I keep the traditional way. So I'm using 전통, so traditional nuruk, all pure natural ingredients, but I add some fusion aspects. So I'm combining creatively new flavors to it and creating a genre that didn't exist before. So I call it postmodern.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my postmodernism of makgeolli.
Oh, very good.
Right?
Very good. And I like the bold flavors.
Yeah.
So this is I think I tasted Homage Jade myself already,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed a nice bold flavor, and nothing like I had before.
All right, okay.
Nothing like I had before. So
Yeah.
it was. I enjoyed it a lot.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Well, the reason why I'm using bold, flavors and aroma is, first of all, traditional brewing we're using nuruk, and nuruk has such strong taste and strong character, right? So when we just add a little bit of touch of botanicals or other ingredients, it sort of like competes with the nuruk, right? So I wanted to make this character, let's say, I wanted to give them a big presence, right? So we have this nuruk touch, but at the same time, I wanted them to exist within the bottle. Yeah, another reason why we have such bold flavor is I'm using mainly organic and biodynamic ingredients, and they are grown in really natural environment, and then they have strong flavor and aroma, right? And that is coming from our selection of really a picky selection of ingredients as well. So when I say, okay, I'm using strawberries, for example, and sages, and I wanted them to shine, right? But at the same time as keeping the basics of makgeolli brewing, right? So I wanted them to sort of, let's say, show off at the same time with the makgeolli character.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's it's very exciting to me to be able to try these kinds of flavors that are very creative.
Yeah, thank you.
How did you invent these flavors?
Okay.
You say they're not directly from tradition.
No, indeed. Brewing was my hobby. And let's say, same as craft beer, home brewers and home winemakers and so on. When we do it as hobby, we sort of tend to try lots of things, right? Exactly. When we brew it, you are doing the same, right? Like when we brew at home,
I can do it differently.
Exactly. And when we do it as hobby at home, we want to do something that we cannot buy, right? So that's how we started, and it was before I studied the brewery. And then when I decided to bring it to a business, I have so special recipes that I was practicing and recording as a home brewer, and I wanted to make it and show it to the market because well, the creativity and the potential of traditional brewing is like, you know, enormous. It is endless, and I wanted to bring this into the market. That's where it came from.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, what else should I ask? Oh yeah. So what are you hoping happens during this exhibition, the expo?
Yeah.
What are you hoping to accomplish today?
Well, exactly as you mentioned, we are brewing some products that are quite uncommon in the market. Very new concept, very new taste. And well, we are we have some magazine coverage because we are a bit known on paper, but well, before tasting it, our products are something that we cannot imagine just by thinking, right, before tasting. So that is the biggest purpose for us to come to this type of expos, for people to really experience, to make them, a taste and understand our philosophy as well. So that's, well, it becomes, let's say, it is very unknown, let's say, as a brand or as a genre, but I would like to make people experience this new genre, new world of makgeolli, right?
Right. Oh, another thing I want to mention to you is that I really noticed the art for your bottles.
Yeah.
I really noticed that.
Oh, yes.
So it really stood out to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one and previous ones, I always, it really caught my eye.
All right.
I always wondered what it tasted like.
Oh, indeed, exactly.
I was very curious.
Yeah. Oh, maybe we can. Yeah.
So how did you come up with the art for your bottles?
Well, what I'm actually trying to achieve from brewing is a brew art, right? Okay. Every tank, every product, every recipe, I make it as like an artwork. Because, well, I believe that traditional brewing is a culture and at the same time art. That's why I always mention postmodernism. Every habit that we have in our daily life is a culture, and it evolves with, looking at it as a cultural content. That's why I always wanted to give some artistic aspect in our bottles as well. So here you can see we had our designers who created this graphic of, you see this is a fruit. Those are our botanicals. That's rice, right? And those are nurup. And they are all mixed and being fermented into a liquid, into our end product. That's what it actually stands for. And I wanted to give this visual art as well to our artistic brew. That's why.
Well, I really noticed it.
Yeah.
Oh, and I should mention too. You're the brewer, brewer of. So this is your company, and you're the brewer. You do almost everything yourself. Yes. So I should mention that.
All right.
Viewers.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we are a small startup, a very small company of 3 people. So, well, actually, I studied alone. So I used to do A to Z myself. So from brewing to all those, even to the finance and even tax reporting and so on. I used to do everything myself. And I think it's actually the advantage of being a small startup, because I'm in charge of many aspects of this brewing and also management and company. So we are a bit, let's say, free, right? So I can be as creative as I want, yeah. And it doesn't take lots of time to develop a new concept, yeah. So for the moment, that's it is tough work because physically, also intellectually and mentally. But for the meantime, I'm enjoying it.
Well, that's great. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk with me today.
Thank you for visiting.
And best wishes on the expo and for your business in the future.
Yeah, thank you very much, and see you again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Very
see
good.
You.
Thank you.
Thank you.